Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is Syed Ahmed, uh, Vice President and Board Member of Emerging Biopharma Manufacturers Network, welcoming you all to this very important, very insightful webinar. Today, we will be having a very interesting webinar and a unique webinar as well because we have all three panelists who are experts, who are women. And we also have a moderator who's a lady. Before I get into the session, I would like to thank all of you because today is a Monday and it is indeed the most busiest day of the week. And I can see that people have joined from all across Latin America, Africa, and Asia across time zones. A few lines on EBPMN. We are a very young network, a not-for-profit organization which is registered in India, but has the secretariat operating out of Butantan in Brazil. We do have members from Latin America, from Africa and Asia, and with one objective of enabling local manufacture of biologics and biosimilars all across low middle income countries. With the network seems to be growing year on year, month on month, going on from strength to strength. And we would like to welcome more members on board as we go about. Today's webinar is being hosted by one of our members from Latin America, which is Mechnikov. And to take the session ahead, I would like to leave the floor to Ms. Zena D'Souza from Tech Invention, who's supporting us in many such initiatives. Zena is a seasoned professional in pharmaceutical management. She's built brands, she's led many healthcare initiatives, and I couldn't find a better moderator who could take this session ahead today, given the insightful session that is likely to be. So without much ado, I would like to leave the floor to Zena to introduce the panelists and take the session ahead. Over to you, Zena.
Thank you. Thank you for those wonderful words of introduction, Mr. Syed. The next hour is surely going to be an enriching and enlightening one. The topic, Mechnikov as a window to Latin America, exploring biosimilars, unlocking opportunities, and navigating regulations is definitely an interesting one. And like you said, we have three panelists who are subject matter experts on this topic. So allow me to introduce them one by one. Our first panelist is Ms. Bjorkis Yanis Chamizo, who currently serves as the Industrial Operations Managers for Instituto Mechnikov, with a remarkable track record in regulatory affairs and quality management. With over 473 GMP regulatory inspections under her belt, including 27 international assessments, she brings extensive expertise to her role. Ms. Yanis Chamizo has held pivotal positions, including head of Cuban GMP Inspectorate, overseeing inspection processes and managing regulatory compliance. Her contributions extend to academia with 14 publications and 19 regulatory provisions to her name. Additionally, Ms. Yanis Chamizo has conducted 42 training and education sessions, including workshops as a WHO temporary advisor in countries like China, India, Iran, Cuba, and Mexico. Welcome, Dr. Bjorkis. Our next panelist, Ms. Carmen Acosta Bas, is a highly accomplished professional with over 2 decades of experience in the pharmaceutical industry, specializing in regulatory affairs and the commercialization of biological products. Currently pursuing a master's in monitoring and clinical trials and pharmaceutical development, Carmen's commitment to continuous learning underscores her dedication to excellence. Throughout her career, Carmen has held key leadership roles, including her current position as the head of Medical and Regulatory Affairs Department at the Latin America Institute of Biotechnology, Mechnikov. Here she has been instrumental in driving registration and sales strategy, contributing significantly to market share growth. With her wealth of knowledge and experience, Carmen brings a unique blend of leadership, expertise, and innovation to her work. Welcome, Dr. Carmen. And our third panelist, I'm delighted to announce, is Ms. Olga Anisimova. For our upcoming webinar on regulatory affairs and market access strategies for pharmaceutical products, with extensive experience as a regulatory affairs manager at the Latin American Institute of Biotechnology, Mechnikov. Olga brings a wealth of knowledge in dossier preparation, strategic planning, and compliance management for vaccines and biological products. Her commitment to continuous learning and adaptability to ever-evolving regulatory landscapes ensures efficient market access for newer medicines. These definitely are impressive introductions. I believe the audience now is ready to hear all of them speak. So I will now invite Ms. Bjorkis to educate and enlighten us via her presentation.
Okay, thanks to all of you. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, everyone, wherever you are sharing this webinar with us. As was mentioned, I'm going to introduce in a general way, I'm going to do a presentation about Mechnikov Institute, and after the head of the Medical Regulatory Affairs Department, Carmen Acosta, and the head of Marketing Authorization, Olga Anisimova, they will lead the questions and answer sessions at the end of my presentation. First of all, I would like to thank to Emerging Biopharmaceutical Manufacturers Network for the invitation to introduce to all of you the Mechnikov Institute and our experience or point of view exploring vaccines and biosimilars in Latin America and unlocking opportunities and navigating regulations. The Latin American Institute of Biotechnology, Mechnikov, is a modern company designing for the development and manufacture of vaccines and biological products. In December 2015, the construction of our production plant began, which was funded in October 2016. Since inauguration, Mechnikov has specialized in the production of flu vaccines from technology transfer processes developed in cooperation with the St. Petersburg Scientific Research Institute of Vaccine and Serum. Our production plant has a capacity up to 30 million doses per season, northern and southern hemispheres, and it's located just 5 minutes from Managua's International Airport, which offers a pro scenario for the distribution of products. The highly skilled and training workforce involved in the manufacturing of our sterile products is the main value of the institute. Mechnikov focuses on the effective compliance of GMP for the production of quality products which demonstrate safety and efficacy with continuous improvement of their processes. The first product was introduced at Mechnikov in 2019. It was the influenza vaccine, split variant inactivated, followed by flu vaccine in 2020, both trivalent. These vaccines were submitted by the Marketing Authorization Order, it means in St. Petersburg Institute, to the WHO pre-qualification process. The corresponding inspection was carried out in April 2023 last year. Additionally, the production plant has been inspected regularly since its foundation, with 12 GMP inspections carried out by the national regulatory authorities from Nicaragua and Russia, as well as from SECMED, Cuba, in its capacity as regional reference authority and competent in the WHO pre-qualification process. Our trivalent influenza vaccines are presented in multi-dose vials. The strain composition is updated in accordance with WHO recommendations for the current epidemic season. Quadrivalent influenza vaccines were incorporated later in 2021. In this case, we have presentations in multi-dosage vials, as well as a vaccine without thiomycin in single-dose vials. Mechnikov also distributes Combacell vaccines ampoules against COVID-19 in single-dose presentation. We are already developing presentations in 6R and 2R vials. The action of Combacell vaccine is directed to nucleocapsid protein of SARS-CoV-2 virus, which remain identical for all strains. Its proven period is which immunity is maintained is not less than 1 year. Mechnikov currently holds 18 marketing authorizations in 6 countries. For next few years, we plan to achieve more than 30 authorizations in 14 countries in Latin America and the Caribbean, including the Caribbean Public Health Agency. More than 20 million doses have been marketed from since 2016, 17. Flu vaccines have demonstrated low reactogenicity with no warning signals in relation to similar types. According to data from adverse events following immunization surveillance, no safety issues related with the application have been reported. Moreover, these vaccines can be administered safely and effectively in any trimester of pregnancy. In the risk assessment, our vaccines have been classified as level 3, which means minor or low, with a very favorable risk-benefit ratio. In Mechnikov Institute, there are 4 main functions or divisions into the quality department: training, quality assurance, quality control, and validation. The training division is in charge of planning, conducting evaluation and follow-up training, qualification, and development of human resources. In the case of quality assurance divisions, it's responsible for managing documentation system, changes, deviations, and quality risk, as well as audit, self-inspections, CAPA plans, periodic review of pharmaceutical quality system and products, among other functions. The validation division guarantees the compliance and follow-up of validation master plan, ensuring the continuous validated status. The QC division evaluates the starting and packaging materials, bulk and finished products, critical system, and environmental conditions, while it is also responsible for the verification and validation as appropriate of analytical methods, and also is responsible for trend analysis. There are 2 warehouses which are duly separate and segregate areas for quarantine and approved material and products. And for those time and temperature sensitive pharmaceutical products, cold rooms have been installed where the temperature is continuously monitored through a validated system. In our production plan, there are 3 main areas into the production plan. The first one is the preparation and sterilization of material, where the materials are prepared. The second one is the aseptic processing line, where the formulation, filling, stopping, and sealing processes are performed. And the third one is the labeling and packaging line. The facility in general is equipped with modern and complex technological systems capable of processing different formats vials. Through the building management system, BMS, temperature, humidity, differential pressure, non-vial particles, temperature of cold rooms, storage rooms, and other isothermal equipment is classified area are continuously monitored and recorded. This is a view of our critical system areas. Mechnikov has always opened to technology transfer for new products and to provide manufacturing service. This approach has led to the establishment of new partnerships in order to strengthen and expand the product portfolio. These collaborations, as you see in the slide, include prestigious international biopharmaceutical companies such as Innovax and Biocontai from China, MG Biopharm from India, the Center for Molecular Immunology from Cuba, and our parent company, the Scientific Research Institute of Vaccine and Serum in St. Petersburg. These partnerships allow us to diversify and contribute to access the products designed to solve health problems present in Latin America and the Caribbean, such as diabetics, cervical cancer, and COVID-19. At the same time, Mechnikov has also collaborated in the building capacity. The BioNICA project, for example, is designed to promote professional training and encourage the participation of young graduates in the scientific milieu, with the integrated participation of Nicaraguan academic sector and the support of scientists from Russia and Nicaragua. At the same time, skilled employees from Mechnikov Institute have participated as professor in the Diploma of Pharmaceutical Regulations, designed to strengthen regulatory capacities in the country, while other staff members participate in each edition as a student. So this is this is our presentation. Thank you very much for your attention, and we are going to give turn to Carmen Acosta and Olga Anisimova, who will attend the questions and answer session. Thanks a lot. Sorry, we cannot hear.
Yeah, Dr. Björkis, can you hear me?
Yeah, now I can hear you.
Yeah.
Sorry,
thanks a lot for that. Yeah, thanks a lot for that lucid presentation and an overview of Mechnikov. I would now leave the floor to Zena to take the panel through the questions.
Sure. Thanks again, Dr. Björkis. And I have received some questions from the audience, and I'll take them one by one. I'll start the questions with Ms. Olga. Ms. Olga, here's a question for you. What actions are Latin American regulatory agencies taking to adopt a harmonized or reliance regulatory pathway? And what specific challenges do companies face while entering the Latin American market with biosimilars and vaccines?
Yeah, then thank you very much for your question. In this regard, I'd like to mention that Latin American regulatory agencies are increasingly moving towards a harmonized approach for the approval of medical products such as biosimilars and vaccines, which includes the adoption of international guidelines, a harmonized dossier format, and the promotion of regulatory reliance. However, the pace of implementing such a harmonized approach varies greatly country by country, leading to a complex and diverse regulatory environment. Companies need to adapt their strategies for each country due to different regulations, and the process that is often expensive and takes a lot of time. Moreover, the varying levels of regulatory expertise and resources among agencies within the region mean that companies might have to invent extra efforts in educating regulators about their products, potentially causing approval delays. And additionally, the region's political and economical instability can further complicate the regulatory landscape, causing shifts in priorities, procedural delays, and currency fluctuation that may negatively impact profit margins. Companies need to remain flexible and be ready to adjust their strategies to these dynamic conditions. Thank you for the question. I hope I answered completely.
Thank you. Olga, nice of you to answer that so so clearly. The next question is to Ms. Carmen. What is the regulatory expectation to support claims of comparability in terms of physiochemical, biochemical characterization with an innovator biological product?
Hello, thank you for this meeting. Well, we all know that have explained Olga, we have a lot of different regulation in all of countries in Latin America. But some important point we need to demonstrate the biosimilar comparability with the innovator product. However, the innovator product may be different in different countries. It's for that we need to negotiate with regulatory organ to understand the product that they like to be a reference product. In general, comparability exercise is like explained in ECH, WH. They know more of risk. If we do that, we explain in these guidelines. Is maybe a regulatory organ need a different points that they need to be demonstrated with the comparability exercise, but in general, if we have a comparability that the main information that we need to do, like explain a guideline for ECH.
Thank you. That answer was really helpful, Ms. Darwin. The next question is back to you again, Ms. Olga. How do intended copies differ from biosimilars, and what distinctions exist regarding the data required for regulatory approvals for each?
Well, so-called intended copies often undergo less rigorous comparability evaluations than biosimilars, which may lead to a streamlined approval process with potentially reduced data requirements. This discrepancy can affect regulatory confidence and market acceptance. And in contrast, biosimilars are subjected to comprehensive comparability evaluation against the reference product, which include extensive data on structure, function, purity, impurities, and clinical outcomes. As Latin American countries progress towards more stringent regulations for biological products, there is a real clear preference for biosimilars over intended copies. However, the area faces issues like different regulatory standards and limited resources in regulatory agencies. But yes, biosimilars are preferred than intended copies. Intended copies, they are impacted.
Thanks for that, Dr. Olga. We do have some questions in the chat box. The first question is with respect to Mechnikov. Do you have downstream process capabilities for biologics at Mechnikov? Is the question.
No. In our institution, we only perform the steps after formulation. It means formulation, filling, packaging, and so on. Because the process, to do those processes, we receive the active pharmaceutical ingredient or the bulk from other companies.
Okay. There is a second question in the chat box. Looking to the specific concerns about elemental impurities in case of biosimilars, what is your experience in Latin American countries' standpoint of view?
Translation issues, sorry.
No problem. Please take your time.
Okay, thank you for this question. The issue of impurity is the following. The requirements are present degradation profiles that are accelerated stability, and this should be in parallel stability study with with the reference products. Many countries moving towards in this in this point, requesting this. And of course, the comparability study of impurities per se. Not only the accelerated stability study, but the comparative study of all impurities, product-related impurities, process-related impurities. Yes, this point is very important for the because as we mentioned earlier, the regulatory agencies in the region are trying to be in line with international guidelines, and we know that international guidelines are asking us for all these points regarding to impurities. Because they may potentially affect immunogenicity, safety of the product, and etc. We all know this point.
Yeah, thanks for that. Quite clear. Zena, over to you. Back to you.
Sure. Thanks again. And Dr. Bjorkis, if you could ask one question of you. The question is the manufacturer allowed to apply for extrapolation of therapeutic indications?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. Yes, it's very important product because the potential for extrapolating indications approved for the reference product also varies by country. Yeah, generally, a comprehensive package of robust comparative preclinical data is essential in all countries. However, certain regulatory bodies may also require additional clinical data to support each specific indication. In some jurisdictions, such requests are evaluated on a case-by-case basis. It's vary by country, but the preclinical data is essential for applying for extrapolation.
Okay, great. Thanks for that. I'll circle back to Ms. Carmen. The question here is, what risks you foresee in making biological products available without a proper evaluation of their clinical characteristics? Any such product approved in Latin America and challenges faced by clinicians in terms of its usage?
Yes, it's very interesting question. Thank you. We foresee the main risks associated with approval of biosimilars without robust evidence of its similarity with the reference product, that are adverse effects and ineffectiveness. Patients treated with poorly evaluated biologics might experience unexpected side effects due to unknown differences between the biosimilar and the reference product, immunogenicity, side effects, among other. Yeah, and in the other case, if the biologic lacks the desired therapeutic effect compared to the reference product, patients might not receive the full benefit of their treatment. For example, patients treated with intended copies, yes, that were mentioned, that lacked extensive comparability analysis, neither clinical evaluation might have experienced suboptimal treatment outcomes due to potential differences in efficacy compared to the reference product. There are two main problems that can be meted in this case.
Thank you. One last query. What peculiarities exist when releasing batches of vaccines and biological products in Latin American countries?
Yeah, okay, thank you. Okay, as all we know, due to their complex nature and the variability in manufacturing processes, vaccines and certain biological products undergo lot release by regulatory agencies. Yeah, the process of lot release can differ across countries in the region. Some regulatory bodies may rely only on the data provided by the manufacturer or summary protocol. Yeah, other may require additional laboratory testing by national control laboratory, or also require a release certificate of another regional reference regulatory body. That is the process.
Great. So that sums up the number of questions I had got, and two more which came in the chat box. So I'll request the audience, if there are any more questions which you would want to put up, please type them in the chat box and we would take them as soon as possible. I'll give the audience a couple of minutes in case somebody wants to type in a question.
I think, Zena, there are no further questions, but it is quite heartening to see almost 80 participants on a Monday who joined us and have stayed with us till now, all through the session. That shows that biosimilars are indeed the most sought after of segments in the pharmaceutical space, and to navigate the same and support interests of companies in Latin America, Mechnikov can be an ideal partner. And we at EBPMN believe in supporting such strategic alliances and cooperation. With this, I would like to conclude this session for the day. Dr. Bjorkis, it is always a pleasure to interact with you. I have pleasant memories of interacting with you in person pre-COVID times when you were at SecMed. And of course, I would like to thank Dr. Olga and Dr. Carmen for taking the questions. I would also like to thank Dr. Stanislav and Dr. Jacqueline for coordinating it all at your end. Zena, you've been a wonderful host. Thanks for moderating the session. I would also like to thank the backend team of Simran, Sonali, and Dr. Nitin for putting in place. We look forward to hosting many more such webinars. Of course, we do like to have it on a monthly basis and would like to give the benefit of enabling local production of biosimilars all across LMICs supported through EBPMN. Thanking you all for joining us and wishing you a very pleasant and productive rest of the day. For those joining in from Asia, good night.